Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. All praise is due to Allah. May Allah's peace and blessings be upon His final messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Continuing our lectures on fiqh, correcting our worship, we covered, alhamdulillah, start of the book of purification, and we stopped after discussing some of the matters of wudu. So, a quick revision. I want to ask some questions. طيب. First question is, what if someone gave you a gift, a belt, leather belt, طيب, and it's from cow's leather, and he told you use this. طيب, what is the ruling of this belt? Is it permissible to use or not? Belt out of cow's leather. What is the ruling and why? So if you say permissible, why? If you say not permissible, why? Okay, see, you said it's permissible because you don't know? You don't know otherwise? This in terms of purity. But regarding leather, what did we say regarding leather? So we said fundamentally it is pure. But regarding leathers in general, what did we say? What did we say regarding leathers? Who remembers? I'll close and I'll leave. No answers, I'll close and I'll leave. Yes. Okay, leathers that are tanned. طيب, what is the principle here? Any leather can be tanned? No, what did you say? Okay. If it's not najis in itself, in essence, this cannot be tanned. Yes, and so here, leather, cow's leather. So can it be tanned? Yes. طيب. This, the majority of scholars will say this. So we said that animals that are edible, their hides can be tanned without any issue. And this opinion without any issue. Where did they dispute? They disputed in animals that are not edible. What is the ruling? Snakes, for example, lizards. We said, the general rule, we chose the Hanafi and Shafi'i madhab in this matter. We said all hides can be tanned, except those that are najis in essence, which is two things: pigs and dogs. So if anyone gives you, for example, a belt, for example, cow's belt, he said, طيب, here we do not say, was it slaughtered or is it mayta? No, we say, خلاص, if it's tanned, then it's okay, regardless if it was slaughtered Islamically or not. If somebody says, Sheikh, but this cow, we don't know how it was killed. Regardless, even if it was mayta, if the hides were tanned, it is pure. We can use. This is the principle. And the principle that the brother said, fundamentally, yes, anything is considered pure unless we know otherwise. But in regarding hides, which is like leather, like skins of certain animals or lizards, we said there's a different principle here. Depends on what kind of animal is this. طيب. Etiquette of using the toilet. Is it permissible to use tissue, even though we have access to water when purifying yourself, the toilet? Yes. What? Give me some. Yeah. Yes. Why? طيب, it's even if we have water. طيب, how many wipes? 3. See, this is not an accurate answer. 3? No, at least 3. But if purity was not attained, we said we can use as many wipes until purity is reached. So, let's say, for example, sometimes maybe 2 wipes, purity is attained, but we say at least 3, so you go 1 more wipe. طيب, let's say 4 wipes or 5 wipes, still purity is not attained. خلاص, you still can do more until you feel that خلاص, it's pure. طيب, can purity with wipes, whether it's tissue or stones or any material, be the same as purity with water when using the toilet? Someone raise his hand and be brave and answer. Give me a problem. Because here nobody answers yes. No, I'm saying are they the same in terms of purity? Or is one of them will give you more? Yes.
No.
And yeah, okay, what?
The purity attained by water is better than.
Yes. Purity attained by water definitely is much more pure. If you use water to purify yourself when relieving yourself, it is definitely much more pure than wiping. We said something regarding najasa. One of them, if using wipe, we said there's something that is pardoned in wiping. What did we say? There's something very important regarding wiping. We mentioned something. We said this is pardoned when wiping, but it's not pardoned when washing. What is it? طيب. We said that when wiping, there might be small traces of najasa that we cannot remove with wiping. So if you wiped 100 times, there will still be some traces that you are unable to remove by wiping. But if you used water, you'll definitely remove it. So here, this najasa that is only, by the way, this ruling is specific to the two outlets, and from urine and feces. So if you wiped 6, 7, 8 times, 9 times, there might be small traces that you're unable to remove with wiping. The Sharia says this is pardoned. Ma'fu'an. Only here. Because they said that the Messenger Muhammad ﷺ did not command them to use water in all of their tahara. He allowed wiping or water. طيب. So both of them are permissible. طيب. Okay. What about facing the Qibla regarding relieving yourself? What did we say regarding this? It is prohibited to face the Qibla. I think we didn't give details regarding this. We said if it was, we just said a general ruling that it is prohibited to face the Qibla while relieving yourself. طيب. What if you were outside, for example, in the desert or in the park or anywhere? Not in the park, you're not allowed to do this. Okay, in the desert, there are no toilets. So you relieved yourself. Here, should you be aware not to face the Qibla, or it's permissible to face the Qibla while relieving yourself? Yes. To face the Qibla while relieving yourself. Because you don't know the Qibla. La ya akhi, know the Qibla. That's what I was going to say, that you should know where the Qibla is, so that you should avoid it. طيب, you do not face the Qibla and you do not give your back to the Qibla, especially now if you go to the desert. طيب, you relieve yourself, you make sure that you're aware of this, that you do not face the Qibla or that you do not give your back to the Qibla. This is an agreement. Where did they dispute? They dispute in toilets. For example, you go to a place that toilets are built like this, yani in rooms where toilets are built towards the Qibla. Here you try your best to go left or right, but if you are not able, they said this ruling is specific to outdoors. Inside rooms, if there's barrier, they said this is okay. Facing the Qibla is no problem. But definitely, it's always better not to face the Qibla if you're able. Just go left or right as much as possible. If you are going to be doing it not indoors, not outdoors. طيب. Someone give me some of the sunnahs or all the sunnahs when using the toilet. Yalla. When using the toilet. طيب, you guys definitely use the toilet. You know the sunnah. What?
The toilet with the dua.
Okay.
Left. Enter with the left foot.
Yes.
Enter with the left foot.
Yes. And the dua, left foot. Okay. Then when leaving.
Cover your head with the hand.
Cover head. This is in the madhab. Subhanallah. I didn't teach you this. I specifically did not teach you this, but they mentioned this. Even though there's no evidence, any strong evidence regarding this matter specifically. So if you don't do it, it's okay. But what else?
Wash with the left.
Yes, when you relieve yourself, you wash with your left and not with your right hand. And this is not actually perfect. This is wajib. It's an obligation not to use your right hand when washing or when touching your private parts. طيب. And of course, when leaving, you do the dua and you use your right. Now here, there's no specific hadith mentioning the right foot when leaving, but they said we understand this from the general text from the Quran and Sunnah is that right hand and the right side is used for noble things, while the left is used for other things. So when you eat with your right. When you give with your right. Okay? طيب. Dental care, we spoke about siwak. Now my question is, if you use a toothbrush with toothpaste, do you get the reward for this, or the reward is specific to siwak? The Messenger Muhammad ﷺ has said, "As-siwak matharatun lil-fam, mardatun lil-Rabb." Siwak is purity for the mouth and pleasing to the Lord, to Allah. طيب, is this now? If you don't have siwak, let's say here nowadays you don't have access to siwak all the time. If you use toothbrush and toothpaste and you floss, طيب, are you rewarded for this? Yes. Who said no? Why? Okay. Actually, you do, because some scholars said anything used. Some of them even said if you don't have access to anything, even if you use your finger. Depending on how much you purify your mouth, this you're rewarded for this. And there's a hadith that mentioned that angels, the most difficult thing on the angels is the leftover food between your teeth. Okay, so they're affected by this. So that's why you purify yourself before worship, when do we use siwak? When is sunnah? Give me some of the sunnahs. When do we use it? Yes. Before salah, before wudu. Okay. There's hadith. Yes. And before reciting Quran, they said anytime you feel that the mouth changes. So when you wake up, that's why the Messenger Muhammad ﷺ, he'd wake up before praying qiyamul layl at night. He'd wake up at night to pray, to worship Allah. He'd use siwak. He'd use it properly, alayhi salatu wasalam, because he's going to be reciting Quran and standing up in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So for salah, yes. And even this, when waking up at night, since the mouth will change, he used to use, alayhi salatu wasalam, siwak there. طيب. General prophetic hygiene. Who can mention all the sunnahs regarding sunnah al-fitrah? You remember sunnah al-fitrah? Of the fitrah is to do what? To remove certain things. Who can mention all of them? Or خلاص, more than one يعني.
Shaving your armpit.
Yes.
Trimming your mustache.
Okay.
Clipping your nails.
Okay. So shaving armpit, clipping nails, mustache. Okay, pelvic hair. What else? Circumcision. طيب. What is the ruling regarding this? Is it wajib? Is it mustahab? Or when is it wajib? When is it mustahab? Yes. 40 days. طيب. You cannot leave them for more than 40 days. Once you reach 40 days, then it's haram to leave them. But before that, definitely it's mustahab. For some people, subhanAllah, if they leave 2 weeks, you'll find that the mustache, it gets into the food, and the nails, they grow really long. Here, khalas, we don't say wait for 40 days. You'll be like a wolf. We say, no, every week even, that's even good, that's even better. طيب. So as long as you feel that there's a need, khalas, it's sunnah to do this. طيب. wudu. Who can tell me what are the fara'id, the arkan? What are the pillars of wudu, if you remember them?
The face, hands up to the elbow,
Yes.
and then washing the head,
Wiping the head, okay.
and the leg,
Okay.
giving it the order,
Okay.
and then not stopping and leaving.
Continuity, 6. Ahsant. Jazakallah khair. طيب, the brother here, he mentioned the 6 which are in the verse, washing the face, washing the hands from the fingers all the way to the elbows, wiping the head, washing the feet. طيب. And continuity, he said in that order, the order in the verse. طيب. My question is, Allah Azza wa Jalla has said in the Quran, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا إِذَا قُمْتُمْ إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ فَاغْسِلُوا وُجُوهَكُمْ فَاغْسِلُوا وُجُوهَكُمْ. Wash your face. And with the Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, would he teach someone who was ignorant of wudu, or even ignorant of salah, and he had mistakes, the Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said to him, تَوَضَّأْ كَمَا أَمَرَكَ اللَّهِ. Pay attention. تَوَضَّأْ كَمَا أَمَرَكَ اللَّهِ. This is where scholars have extracted what are the pillars, the most important things in wudu. If you leave them, your wudu is invalid. They said what the Messenger Muhammad ﷺ taught that person who was not praying properly. He said, first of all, تَوَضَّأْ كَمَا أَمَرَكَ اللَّهِ. Where did Allah command him to do wudu? The verse. طيب. The verse mentions these things that I mentioned right now. And in that order. طيب. Where did they differ? They differed in the things that the Messenger Muhammad ﷺ used to do in his wudu that are not mentioned in the verse. For example, washing the mouth and nose. What is the ruling of washing the mouth and nose? First of all, when I say what is the ruling of washing the mouth and nose, if it's sunnah or if it's wajib, we're not going to leave it. Why? Because this is how the Messenger Muhammad ﷺ used to do wudu. This is how we want to do wudu. So if you want to do wudu, definitely you follow the Messenger Muhammad ﷺ. That is the complete wudu that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from us. But when is the issue? Why do we need to know the rulings? What if someone forgot? He forgot washing the mouth or he forgot washing the nose, and then after prayer he comes to you and asks, Ya akhi, wallah, I forgot to wash my mouth. Definitely I did not wash my mouth, because there's traces of food and I ate food before wudu, so I'm sure 100% I did not wash my mouth. Is my wudu valid? So you're answering. I was telling you. طيب, yes. طيب, why? So okay. So the opinion that we have chosen, we said that washing the mouth and nose is sunnah, which is the opinion of the majority, while the Hanbali madhab said that washing the mouth and nose is wajib, it's part of washing the face. It is part of washing the face. But here, if somebody came and told you, I did not wash, you said, Ya akhi, be careful. And you don't tell him, la, it's okay. No, you tell him, be careful. Next time, don't do it. They said, okay, should I repeat my prayer? I said, no, don't repeat your prayer, because the dispute is really strong. It's not an easy dispute or a dispute without evidence. No, it's really strong dispute. So we tell them, no, your prayer is valid, inshallah, your wudu is valid, but next time, do not forget to wash your mouth and nose. طيب. But what if he came to you and said, I did the wudu, but I did not wipe my head? طيب. Here he said, I forgot to wipe my head. You say, Miskeen Sheikh. Tell him, okay. Haram, he prayed and we don't want him to feel sad. We say it's valid. Why? Yeah, this is why you have to understand the difference between saying this is a pillar and this is mustahab. When you say this is a pillar, if you don't do it, it is invalid. Whether you forgot or whether you did not know, it is invalid. And if the wudu is invalid, the worship is invalid. If the wudu is invalid, the worship is invalid. So you have to be careful. That's why you have to know, how to properly to do wudu. You have to avoid these mistakes. And we mentioned of the mistakes, طيب, when we said وَأَيْدِيَكُمْ إِلَى الْمَرَافِقِ, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded us to wash our hands, where's the limit? From where to where? From where? From fingers. Because many people, their mistake here is they start from here, the wrist, and they wash to the elbow, and they said, Sheikh, I washed my hands at the start. No, the wash that you did in the start, this is a sunnah wash. But when you after washing your face, when you wash your hands, طيب, no, this wash here is a pillar. You must do it. Like washing from the fingers all the way to the elbows. طيب. And we mentioned something at the end. Some people maybe it was real quick. We mentioned, which is, what if a person forgot a body part? He forgot wiping the head, for example. So he finished his wudu and he forgot to wipe his head. And then he came and they said, yeah, but I forgot to wipe my head. What should he do? Remember that we said order of wudu is rukun. It's an obligation, it's a must. It's a pillar of wudu. So the order is a must. Be careful, the order is a must. If the order is a must, then this person who left wiping the head, what do we say to him? Yes. Yes, he goes back to the body. Pay attention to this, because this happens to us. You might forget. You go back to the body part that you forgot, you wash it, and then you continue. طيب, I'll give another example. I want someone else to answer. What if the mic? طيب. What if a person forgot to wash his hands? طيب, and he finished wudu. So what do we do? No. Washing hand. Arm. Okay. So what do you do? How do you correct this? Yes. Okay. And then continue. Yes. Ahsant. So you wash that which was forgotten and then you continue with that order. Okay? طيب. Yes. What about niyyah? Yeah, niyyah is a condition, definitely. Niyyah is the only condition, as in if there is no niyyah, definitely then there's no wudu. Yeah, but here I don't how it's saying that niyyah is a person did it without a niyyah. Once you visualize this, is this really possible? It's possible sometimes, but usually I would say only a person is unaware, he just entered the toilet, then unconsciously he did the wudu. Yes, here we said he did not have niyyah. But a person wanting to go, for example, pray, he entered the toilet to do wudu. Here we say the niyyah is there. Why don't I want to open and discuss this? Because many people have waswasa in wudu. Unbelievable. Even here sometimes we see. He repeats wudu again. Again, why you just washed? Again he repeats. He said maybe niyyah. Why did you come here if there was no niyyah? If somebody says no, there is niyyah, why did you come here aslan in the first place? You had the niyyah. And the niyyah is not removed. Once it's there, it cannot be removed yet. You cannot say no, but the niyyah is not. It's not, by the way, it's not a condition, a shart that you remember your niyyah every moment of wudu. No. As long as the niyyah is established, khalas. Then you do your wudu, that's it. The niyyah is there. And also no need to pronounce the niyyah. There's only one worship that the Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we don't say pronounce the niyyah, but he mentioned the worship out loud, which is حج عمرة حج عمرة لبيك اللهم عمرة لبيك اللهم حجا لبيك اللهم حجا وعمرة وحجا. This is the only worship. This is also where the scholars made strict conditions. Is mentioning the niyyah there. Is it a condition or is it preferred? This is the dispute there in the matters of Hajj and Umrah. But here no one said like it's wajib to mention here. No one. In some books of fiqh, in some madhabs, they said pronouncing the niyyah, and they said like in the tongue. They didn't say even saying it out loud like the Shafi'is. They said pronouncing the niyyah to remind yourself. But definitely, is this a sunnah? Definitely no. How many people did wudu at the time of the Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? The only text that we have discussing niyyah is one text, which is إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّةِ. There is no other text regarding the niyyah. إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّةِ doesn't mention pronouncing the niyyah. طيب. طيب. Now, what is wudu needed for? طيب. كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, first of all, كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يتوضأ لكل صلاة. يتوضأ لكل صلاة. طيب. وكنا نصلي الصلوات بوضوء واحد. So here there are two matters. Can you pray more than one prayer with one wudu? Let's say you do one wudu, then you stay in the masjid from Asr all the way to Maghrib, and then you pray Maghrib with the same wudu. Is it okay? Yes. Without any issues. Even if you were able, somehow, miraculously, you were able to pray 5 prayers with one wudu, of course you have to go to the doctor. But if it happened, then your wudu is khalas, all prayers is valid. SubhanAllah, here the companion said that he did this. They used to do this. كنا نصلي الصلاة بوضوء واحد. Does it mean all 5 prayers, or does it mean more than one prayer? It means maybe Allah Alam, more than one prayer. But if it happened, then it's valid. Yes.
If someone washed their legs and it became dirty, is their wudu broken?
Good question. If a person washed his legs, so he washed his legs in a normal wudu, and then it was dirty, let's say it was raining and there's mud. So here now we'll see who revised the first class. This is regarding the first class. طيب, is his wudu broken, or does he need to do wudu again? Let's say it had mud and then he came in and he prayed. Of course, I am not saying, okay, go and jump in the mud and come to the masjid and pray. But for argument's sake, okay, he prayed outside in Jama'ah, I don't know how, but he prayed. طيب. Now here, is his prayer valid? Okay, why? He has mud on his feet. Is this clean? First of all, yeah. Okay, see, first of all, this mud, is it pure or impure? Now, this is, take it step by step. Wait, one step by step. First, this is how you analyze everything. We took the ruling step by step for you to don't leave. You asked your question, you stay. You asked your question, you stay. You ask question and then you run away. You can't do this. طيب. So mud. First of all, he said mud. طيب. Mud. First of all, is it pure or is it impure? أيوة أحسن جزاك الله خير. This is what I wanted someone to say. Say what did you say? Fundamentally, we don't know. Yeah, it's pure. Unless, of course, it's mud from sewage. Yeah, خلاص, this is impure. But normally mud, يعني sand or soil and water. Oh, this is pure. Fundamentally, it's pure. طيب, we know it's pure. طيب, but it's considered يعني dirt, but it's pure. طيب, so he prayed with this mud on his feet, and he did a complete wudu. طيب, having mud, you did the wudu, then having mud on your feet, does this break your wudu? Has nothing to do with invalidating your wudu. So your prayer is valid. Okay? But definitely, if you wash it, definitely it's better. Especially if you're coming to Jama'ah, you wash. But your worship is valid. Okay? طيب. So here we said that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ here used to do wudu for every worship. Now, is this wajib? Is it an obligation for you to do wudu for every worship, or is it preferred? It is preferred, definitely. It is preferred to renew your wudu. طيب, if you wanted to renew your wudu, when can a person renew your wudu? Let's say you did the complete wudu. You finished. Do you go and do wudu again? No, this is bad. This is wrong. Because this wudu, you did not use it for anything. Why do you need to repeat it? You're wasting water. You're already in a state of wudu and there is no need for you to do this. Unless, for example, prayer time enters. You wanted to do another wudu, you renew your wudu, you can do this. Yes, you're rewarded for this. You used the toilet, for example. Then you wanted to do wudu, yes, you're rewarded for this. And a sunnah is if you want to renew your wudu and then you pray 2 units, that's even better and better. So whenever you renew your wudu, you want to pray 2 units for wudu, no problem, you can do this, as Bilal used to do. طيب. Here, قال Bilal, okay, there's a hadith that the Messenger Muhammad ﷺ said, I heard your footsteps in paradise. Bilal said, يا رسول الله ما أذنت قط إلا صليت ركعتين وما أصابني حدث قط إلا توضأت عندها ورأيت أن لله علي ركعتين. So he never performed wudu except that after he did the wudu, he prayed 2 units. طيب, he prayed 2. These 2 units can be, for example, you did wudu and then you entered the masjid, 2 units for tahiyyat al-masjid. And also you can make it 2 units of the, for example, dhuhr, 2 units of the sunnah. طيب, or the 2 units between adhan and iqamah. These are all sunnahs that you can do. طيب. Where else it's an obligation? طيب, it's an obligation to do wudu for shart sah. It's a condition of validity for prayer to do wudu. Yes? What else? Wudu is a condition for other things. Who can remind me? Tawaf. Yeah, and? Oh, what did you say? You said reciting Quran, you said reading Quran, still.
For touching.
Okay, yes, holding the mushaf. Holding the mushaf. Don't take this matter, don't belittle this matter. All 4 imams and all early scholars, they're in agreement that if you want to touch the Quran, hold the Quran, you should be in a state of purity. You should be in a state of purity. So do wudu, then hold the mushaf. طيب, the question will come, what about holding the mobile phone and reading from the mobile phone? Is the mobile phone considered a mushaf? It's not considered a mushaf. So if you're not in a state of purity, you want to revise, you want to read some Quran from the mobile phone, you can do this without any issues. Without any issues, because this is not considered a mushaf. The mobile phone is not considered a mushaf. What is considered a mushaf? The book that we have, we know, and this is considered a mushaf, okay? So other than this, reading from the mobile phone, there's no issues. طيب. What about reciting the Quran? Is it a must for you to be in a state of wudu to recite Quran? No. طيب. What if you were, because we want to mention this here, what if you were in janaba, state of janaba, and you want to recite Quran? Now everyone's sad because they didn't take this. So they don't want to fall in the trap. Yes, no. They don't want to raise their hands and they say, I don't know, Sheikh. طيب. Let me teach you this. In a state of janaba, reciting the Quran, better not to. Better not to, but you can remember Allah. Yani saying, remember Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah is no problem in the state of janaba. But reciting the Quran, they said no. Why? Because janaba is in your hand. You can just go and do ghusl and then recite the Quran. Okay? Okay. So anyways, here, they also understood at that time that, a person in a state of janaba does not recite Quran. Okay? طيب. So touching the mushaf, we mentioned this. And somebody tells you, who said this before? Tell him, look, this is the opinion of the 4 Imams and majority of the early scholars. طيب. So خلاص. Don't get into this dispute. Yes, you might find there are other opinions saying, the hadith of Da'if and this verse, لا يمسه إلا المطهرون. But it's long dispute. خلاص, many matters of fiqh. If you find the 4 Imams and they have some text, be careful, go opposing them. And don't be hasty. If somebody tells this opinion and going against the 4 Imams just like this, be careful. Take it easy. Take it easy. Don't rush into these things. Don't rush into these things. The more that you study, you realize how important if you have 4 Imams of one opinion, even though they have different principles and different understandings, and they might have come across different texts, yet all 4 of them are in one opinion. It's not an ijma', but and I'm not saying it's always definitely have to follow, but I'm saying just be careful opposing them. This is my advice. Yes?
Do we need wudu for practicing the Quran?
For dua?
No, for practicing any surahs. Do we need wudu?
Revising Quran, for example?
Yeah.
I said, the touching the Quran, yes. Other than that, just revising the Quran, reciting, no, we don't need wudu. Now here kids, they said, it's difficult for them to keep wudu. They come, they jump, and they want them to go and study. Here some of them said, it's okay. It's okay. And every time telling them, they say, I don't want to do wudu, I don't want to revise. But definitely it's better to teach them, do wudu at a young age, glorifying the Quran, to do wudu before touching the Quran. Definitely this is important. Yes? Where's it? Okay, good. Tafsir. Is it the Quran? They said books of tafsir, like if you have, if it's like a Quran, but on the sides, on the hamish, they're like some translating some of the words. Here, this is considered the Quran. But if it's like a book of tafsir, like Tafsir ibn Kathir, for example, here it's not considered the Quran. It's a tafsir. It's a tafsir. So it doesn't have the same rulings. طيب. Yes?
The
Translation is not a Quran. Not a Quran. It's you're translating the meanings of the Quran. But if you have a book that has the whole Quran in it, they mentioned they said if they have a book that has all the Quran in it, and there's translation in English, is this considered the Quran or is this considered tafsir? Some of them even went and said you count the words. They said you count every word. I don't know, subhanAllah, they used to do this back then. They count every word. If the words are more than the Quran, then it takes the ruling of a tafsir. If the words of the Quran are more. So anyways, but in general, book of tafsir, translating the meaning, it's not a Quran, it's a tafsir. It's tafsir. طيب, now I want you to concentrate. We're going to be taking something important. I'm not going to take long. We're not going to take too much because you're required to concentrate on this. It is wiping on footwear. Wiping on footwear. What is it? And how do we do it? What are the conditions? طيب. It is permissible to wipe over the footwear instead of washing if certain conditions are met. Number 1, that a full wudu was done. So if you did a full wudu with water, full wudu was done, and then you wore the footwear after completing the wudu, after you washed the right foot and the left foot, you have completed your tahara. You wore the slippers, or you wore the the socks. Let's say socks. I'll explain why. Socks. Here it is permissible for you to wipe over them instead of washing once you use the toilet. طيب. Of the conditions also is that this footwear should cover the area of wudu. When we're talking about feet, what is the area of wudu? When we're talking about feet, what is the obligation to wash? Yes, to include the ankle bone. So it's the whole foot, including the ankle bone. Be careful, including the ankle bone. If the ankle bone was not included, then it's not. This footwear is not covering the place of wudu. Hence, you're not allowed to wipe over it. I repeat, when wearing footwear or socks to wipe on, you must cover the area of wudu, which is including the ankles. There are certain socks, they're below the ankle. If they're below the ankle, you cannot wipe. You cannot wipe over it. طيب, because it's below the ankle. طيب. Now regarding the material, yes, there's some dispute, but wallahu alam, the Hanbali madhab here is the easiest and also inshallah the strongest madhab in this matter, which is any material can be used. Whether it's made out of skin, whether it's made out of wool, whether it's made out of cotton, inshallah, if it covers the whole foot with the ankle bones and it was worn over a complete tahara, it is permissible for you to wipe on it. طيب. Someone might say, this I got sometimes we get questions. Someone is taking a picture of his socks. Can I wipe over this? And it has small holes. I said, yes, you can. Don't worry. These small holes that occur, these are no problem. They do not affect the ruling. They do not affect the ruling. What about socks made out of silk for men? Huh? If I give you a present, you'll take it?
Take it, but I'm not wearing it.
Go sell it? Give it to your mother. Yes, for men, so as a condition, this footwear should be permissible and, of course, not najis. So here, silk is not permissible for men. Silk is not permissible for men. Also, there's another issue. What about it's made out of skin, but pig skin? Okay, why not allowed? شو كيفك ليش why not allowed? And can't we tan it? It will not be pure even if we tan it. It will not be pure even if we tan it. Yes. طيب. So we understand that as a condition we should have a complete wudu, complete purity, and it should cover the area of wudu. طيب. How do we wipe? So who can demonstrate for me how to wipe over footwear? Yes.
One wipe and the right foot with the right hand.
Okay, one wipe, and so this is your foot. One wipe. Let's say this is the heel. This is the foot. So one wipe. So if you wipe this area here, it suffices. You don't need to wipe the sides. You don't need to wipe the back of the foot. You don't need to wipe the bottom of the foot. Only the upper area and most of it. Even it's not necessarily that every part of it is covered. No, most of it suffices. طيب, with your hand. طبعا your hands are wet. You wipe over them. خلاص. One time. We do not need to repeat. طيب. Okay. Yes.
Does it matter which direction you wipe?
No, it doesn't matter. As long as it's considered a wipe, that's it. Now, what is the duration of the wipe? The Messenger Muhammad ﷺ said, كنا مع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم في سفر أمرنا ألا ننزع خفافنا ثلاثا إلا من جنابة ولكن من غائط وبول ونوم. So the duration, okay, here the Messenger Muhammad ﷺ commanded the companions not to remove their footwear except from janaba. So unless it's in janaba, they remove the footwear. Other than janaba, they do not need to remove the footwear. So let's give you an example. So you performed a complete wudu, and then you wore your socks. Let's say socks, so to remove any dispute. You wore your socks, and khalas. So now you wipe? No, still you're on tahara. You don't need to wipe. طيب, you prayed dhuhr, and you kept your socks on. Before asr, you went to the toilet. طيب, you came out. You did wudu, and now you wiped on your feet. So you did wudu, you washed everything except the feet, then you wiped on your feet. Here, you look at the time, for example, it's 3:40 or it's 2:40, you have 24 hours. So you can keep wiping for 24 hours, given that you're not a traveler. 24 hours. So in Maghrib time, the same thing happens. You go to the toilet, you do wudu, and then you wipe. You can wipe on your socks. You slept, you woke up in the morning, you went for Fajr, the socks are still on. Sheikh, it's next day, can I do this? Yes, you have 24 hours from the first wipe. 24 hours from the first wipe. Not from using the toilet. Yes, there are certain madhabs will say from using the toilet, but Allah alam, stronger opinion is from the first wipe. You have 24 hours from the first wipe. Understood? First wipe from 24 hours starting from the first wipe and not from using the toilet. Okay? From the first wipe, yes.
One day and one night.
So 24 hours. يوم وليلة is 24 hours. Yeah, 24 hours.
When doing the wipes.
Yes, as soon as you wipe, خلاص, you have 24 hours from now. طيب, 24 hours. But, so if you use the toilet, this you can still keep wearing. طيب, if you use the toilet, does that mean your wudu will not be invalidated? No, your wudu will be invalidated. But when doing the wudu, you may wipe. So you see this, how it benefits you, yani. Makes life easier. طيب, what if you did not need? Yani, you say, Sheikh, maybe this is only for people who need to wear socks. No, anyone can do it. It is permissible. طيب, there is no condition that you should be facing a hardship for you to do it. No, you can just wear socks and do this, no problem. No issues. طيب. And I want to mention something here because I had, subhanAllah, this issue once. So in Medina, when in the toilet, while doing wudu, the old man, subhanAllah, I saw him, he was wearing socks. And he removed the socks to wash his feet. He's like, Sheikh, why? Why are you doing this? He said, no, I did not have a niyyah when wearing the socks. I said, who said this? That you need to see. Be careful. Who said that you need a niyyah at the time of wearing the socks that you will be wiping with the socks? You don't need this. The niyyah of the worship is when doing it now. The niyyah of the worship is when you're performing wudu. This is the niyyah. You get my point? You understand what I'm saying? So when you wore the socks, you don't need to say, no, I have intention now that later when I go to the toilet, I need to wipe. There's no such thing. Okay? So if you forgot while wearing your socks, that's okay. So you just wear your socks, خلاص, normally you just wore your socks. When doing wudu, here is where the intention of worship. Clear? طيب. Okay. طيب, duration of the wipe, we said 24 hours for a person who is resident. طيب, a traveler, if he started his wipe while traveling, he has 3 days. Which is how many hours? 72 hours. طيب, 72 hours. 72 hours. So you have duration of 72 hours. Now, you know what? طيب, let's just mention this duration. There's another matter regarding the expiration of the wiping and all these. I want to do them some next week because it's going to be too much. It's not too much, but I see the cleaners are looking at me like this, and so saying, when is he going to finish? طيب, let's talk about the duration. So 72 hours for a traveler. But what if you started your wiping, so you started here, Dhuhr, and then you travel to Abu Dhabi. So do we say you have 72 hours or 24 hours? These matters you'll find dispute. That's why take the safest one, say it's 24 hours. Unless you started your wiping during travel, then do it in travel, okay? Do it, it's 72 hours. Otherwise, if you're a resident, you started your wiping, then you traveled, then they said, خلاص, you say it yourself, you take the same rulings as a resident because it started while being a resident. طيب. Okay, any other matter? So does anyone have any questions regarding this? Yes?
What happens if we remove the socks and again wear it instead of wudu?
Okay, this is going to be discussed next week, but let me tell you this. These matters, I'll say it now, just as an introduction. Next week, we're going to take them in detail. Certain matters, which are, for example, removal of the footwear or expiry of the duration. Here, these matters, as I mentioned, you have like the 4 imams on one opinion, and it's really, there's no text. You don't have any dalil from the Quran and Sunnah on any of the opinions. If we have a dalil on one opinion, then khalas, it's clear. Then we have one opinion that has a dalil, another opinion that has no dalil. But the problem is there is no dalil. It's all like rationale, which is what to do. For example, they said, if you wiped on your footwear, and then you removed the footwear, what is the ruling? Is your tahara, we're talking about the purity, is it still there, or is it invalidated by removal of footwear? What do you know before this time? What have you heard? Why is everyone? Just tell me. Just tell me what you know. And what have you heard before? If you remove footwear, does it invalidate your wudu? Yes. It invalidates? Or you're afraid? It invalidates? What did you know before that? It invalidates? Huh? It doesn't invalidate? Doesn't invalidate. Yes, it doesn't invalidate. Yeah, this is, for example, what Ibn Taymiyyah said, and Shaykh ibn Uthaymeen, he strengthens this opinion, and he has his argument. But these opinions, these matters where you have the 4 imams on one opinion and there's no clear evidence, a person should seek security and safety for his worship. So if you removed your footwear, just because the dispute is there and you have 4 imams and there's no clear evidence, take the opinion of 4 imams. If the footwear is removed, go, that means that your wudu is invalidated, go and do your wudu again, full wudu. Do you understand? So if you had footwear, you wiped on it, and then after coming out of the office, by mistake, you removed the footwear. You removed the socks. You say, oh, I forgot. Khalas, you remove the socks, remove the other one, and go do a complete wudu. Go and do a complete wudu, just to secure, and this is the safest opinion. Don't risk it. Don't risk it. The same thing with if the duration expires. If the duration expires. If the duration expires again, go and do wudu again. These 2 matters. Again, we have the 4 imams on one opinion. And when you look at the arguments, both arguments are strong. Both arguments are strong. But when you have, as I mentioned, and this is, one of our scholars, he taught me this. He said, we don't care. We used to say, this is the dalil, is clear. But when you study, you see, if you have like 4 imams, their understanding, and you don't have clear dalil. We're not saying blind follow, but there's no clear evidence here for any of the opinions. Each of them is using rationale, each one of them. So here the safe thing is, go with the safer opinion and say, if you remove footwear or the duration expires, you do wudu again. With this, inshallah, does anyone have any questions? Yes. Yes.
In terms of the pillars of wudu, like if I enter the masjid and I find that the Jummah is going on, so can I just complete only those 4 pillars and rush to the Jummah, catching up the Jummah?
Okay. So leaving the Sunnah? Good question. So if a person only did the pillars of wudu and he did not do any of the sunnahs, is his wudu valid? Yes. That's the whole point when we say this is sunnah, it's preferred. And when we say it's sunnah, it's preferred, doesn't mean we don't want to do it. We want to enter paradise, don't we? So you want to take advantage of every sunnah. And don't make your goal or motive when studying is that, now I know that this is a sunnah, I'm not going to do it. Doesn't make it. One brother used to do sadaqah, and then he said, I don't have to do it, it's sunnah, I'm not going to do it. I said, subhanallah, brother, what is this? Then you're losing out. If you learn that there's a certain action that is a sunnah, try your best to do it. But if qaddar something happens or there is no time, you did not do it, then no problem. So for example, washing 3 times, it's a sunnah. But let's say the iqamah is going on, and you're afraid to miss the first unit. So you washed every body part once, so that you can attain the sunnah, so that you can join the what's the ruling? If you washed every body part in wudu once and not 3 times, is your wudu valid? It is valid, yes. An agreement. So, subhanAllah, even once we didn't have enough water. So we had enough water for everyone to do wudu once. So we don't say one of the brothers, I'm going to apply the sunnah here. And then we end up one of the brothers not having enough water. La ya akhi, wash your body parts once so that we can all have enough water to do wudu. Okay? So, be wise. Yes, any other questions?
The question was, is it preferred?
To catch. These matters, what is preferred, to have a complete wudu and then miss, or to rush, or to do just once a day? Because if you're going to miss out this, you're going to attain the unit, which is good. If you do a complete wudu, it is khair, but you're going to miss all the words. So it's, in these matters, it's difficult to say which is really better, because you don't have like clear text. Just like the matter, I'll give you a matter. For example, in Fajr, if you pray your sunnah at home and then you go to the masjid, you'll miss the opening takbir. But if you go to the masjid, you'll attain the opening takbir, but you miss the sunnah. So it's give or take. It's difficult to say, no, this is better or better than this. It depends on the person and depends on the situation. طيب, any other question?
Definition of footwear is
Okay, footwear. Anything that covers the foot, including the ankle bone.
so that means those who are wearing slippers doesn't count.
Yes, definitely. Yes.
Slippers, even shoes, ankle shoes doesn't count. Those
Okay, but you can't say the shoes, because what if it was a shoe and it covered all this?
those will be like high top shoes, but normal shoes.
Okay, see, this is why I'm saying, if you know if you know خلاص, the ضابط, as I mean, if you know the criterion, خلاص, it's easy. Any footwear that covers the whole foot, including the ankle bone, yes. So boots, if somebody wore boots. Boots that are fit, they fit, snug fit as they say, and so what's the ruling here?
If it's covering ankle bone.
Oh, boots, is there boots that don't cover ankle bone? Why is it called a boot then? See, same thing. Same thing. طيب, yes.
If we are wearing flats and like flat shoes, and if we do wudu, and our legs are not becoming wet, if we pray, do the salah count?
Okay, in wudu, you have to encompass the whole limb. So your foot, you have to encompass the whole foot. Now what's between the fingers? The sunnah is to make sure that, for example, water goes in, to put your fingers between to make sure that water goes through it. طيب. But, for example, I don't know, and you had like Play-Doh or something, and you tried your best, but there's still some traces and you're unable, and you tried to remove, but you're not able, خلاص, this is valid. طيب. Yes. طيب. Okay. Let's see. Did you wear them after a complete wudu? Yes? If you wear them after طيب. Do they cover the foot including the ankle bone? This is the matter. Can you look at it? Does it cover the whole foot including the ankle bone? If yes, then it's considered footwear that you can wipe on. If not, then you cannot wipe on it. طيب. Someone has a question?
Somebody doing salah without renewing the wudu.
Without renewing the wudu, but he has his own wudu.
Somebody slept in sleep.
Okay, sleep, we'll talk about this when we talk about invalidators of wudu. We'll mention what type of sleep invalidates your wudu and what doesn't. Yes. Yes.
Okay, so like if there's a very thick shoe, if you wipe over it and your foot doesn't get the water, is it still validated?
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the water reaching the foot. It's about water, it's about wiping the footwear itself. It has nothing to do with water reaching the foot. طيب. خلاص. يعني they're very impatient. خلاص. With this we will end. Inshallah, next week, revise this, because it's easy to forget these details. Revise, always go back and look, what is a pillar? What is mustahab? What is a pillar? What is an obligation? Now it might not be that important, that difficult, but inshallah, if we reach prayer, then there's no playing. Because if you don't understand what this action is it an obligation? Is it a rukn? Is it a mustahab? Then you will not be able to apply anything in sujood al-sahw. So differentiating what is pillar, what is wajib, what is mustahab is very important. Pillar, you cannot leave it no matter what. Wajib, you might be able to forget or omit on certain situations. Mustahab, if you don't do it, it's still valid. Okay? طيب هذا والله أعلم وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم جزاكم الله خير.